Hello again, welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming Club. Without us, they never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. So this time we had Vampire Covenant versus the Kingdom of Equitaine. I know, again. But this time it's against a different opponent. It's myself, my name is Mark, Sir MC 2015 up on the boards, the Ninth Age, and Chris, who is actually going to ETC. So here's we're turning around. I was trying to give him a good game because again I'm a local game clubber. Won some tournaments here or there, but nothing really recent. And actually there was the one last year, but that's about it. And here's his list. So I don't have what his characters actually physically have on them, so please pardon me. Going from left to right, back row, we have 2 units of Vampire Knights. Those Vampire Knights, whatever they are, they have a 1-up armor save. They have 2 wounds each. They're strength 5. They're disgusting. Then we've got a Vargaloff or Vargalak, and the Vargaloff has a doesn't have the extra stomps the way Ryan kits them out. Actually has the heals itself on a 3+ if it does a wound. A unit of 20 zombies. Another Vargolf. Now going back to the second rank, we have a Bats. We have a unit of zombies. Another unit of zombies. 2 units of dogs. Then on the front rank, we have a unit of skeletons with the flaming banner. We have 2 different units of spirit hosts. Then we have his general. Now, it's not Von Karstein. I honestly don't know which one he did take, but which line he did take. However, what I will say is it's a nasty lord. He's got a potion of strength on him. He has the blessed sword. He's strength 5. He's nasty. That's all I can say. And for his spell, he has the dead arises, so he can form a new unit. Then he's got a level 2 necromancer, which has mockery of life and the dance of macabre. And he has the Tome of Arcane Lore, so he actually has a 3rd spell, being the which I'll go say in just a second. His 3rd mage, which is another necromancer, has Steel Youth. All 3 of his characters has the signature spell, so he can turn around and heal the undead. They never die. I know they're undead, but they never die. They keep coming back. They're like relatives you can't get rid of. Over here we have the Equitaine list. So, of course, his was set up on the big table and more spread out. So going from upper left, going across, I've got a unit of 10 peasant bowmen that skirmish, unit of 6 knights of the realm. Back next to the skeletons. Skeletons are not in my army, at least not in this particular army. I have another 5. Let's see, those are aspiring knights. Then I have, going back, I have 2 units of mounted yeomen, peasant infantry, so peasant levy, 2 trebuchets, then back again, another unit of peasant levy. Then my characters. So again, I have the characters kit out the same way I did last time. My Duke has Valor. Has the one where he must issue a challenge. He gets to reroll his hits and misses, his hits and wounds in the challenge, but he has to issue and he has to accept. He's a Grell Knight, so he's weapon skill 7. He has the sword of the Kingslayer sword, so for every character he gains an additional +1 attack, +1 strength, and that's it. My BSB has Sword of Heroes. I have a level 2 that has its spell scroll, level 4 that has Book of Arcane Power, and another paladin that has the Shrieking Swords, which is a paired weapon, a lance. He has Virtue of Might. My BSB has Virtue of Daring. And then I have 11 peasant archers with a champion. I think I already said my 2 trebuchets because right there's Betsy. Going back to my lower left, I have a unit of Grail Knights with the War Banner and a Flaming Lance. Then I have 2 units of let's see, 2 units of Knights of the Realm. So for my spells, I have Stars Align and Blizzard. And then for my level 4 of Oaken Throne, Healing Water, Summer Growth, Stone Skin, and Breath of Life. Here's how the board looks. We did Classic Deployment and Hold Your Ground. So it's an undead fantasy to get that one, because all you have to do is turn around, pop a unit in front, and then take another unit, pop it in back. But the way he did this is he definitely wanted first turn. So he turned around and he just put everything on the table, and then I started deploying. I deployed as so to try to spread out because I thought I could turn around, win the flanks. Wasn't as concerned with the middle because of the water and the impassable piece of terrain. But in retrospect, I probably should have just put most of my units all the way down that one flank, left my infantry on the other flank with one of the knight characters sitting behind them. And it actually probably would have been more beneficial had I done it that way in retrospect. But again, live and learn. This was a great learning game for both of us. And here we go. So again, he gets turn 1. Here's how the board looks after Vanguards. I turn around, I move them up. I didn't want him to get charged right off the bat with that Varkalak. Apparently he didn't realize that Monstrous Beast always has Swiss Stride. I'm like, yeah, they do. So I didn't want to get too close without putting him close in for my knights to turn around and be able to deal with him. Then, let's see. What else do I have over there? The other one, I wanted them to deal with his dogs. Because I saw them trying to chaff me up, which he does try to do. And here's how the board looks after turn 1. So again, I put my general, I put my BSB there in the middle. In retrospect, had I put them on the far side, probably would have been better, because again, they have the extra D3 inches charge range. So just swapping those two things around would have definitely made a different game. Maybe deal with the forest and maybe put them in like a little bit more space between them and the infantry, or swap their spots. And either way, that would have been a valid move at that point. So again, he just moves things up during his magic phase. He raised the dead, and he raises more dead. I think he only got one spell that phase to go off, so it wasn't horrible for me. But all 3 mages being able to do it, it was pretty disgusting. Watching that many zombies turn around and come back, because he's rolling high for his zombies, as you can tell. I'm sorry, he got off twice. He's got 6 and 7 coming into the zombie unit there. I'm like, I don't know what to do with them. So now it's Equitaine's turn. So I go ahead and I try to chaff up his. I was trying to chaff up his Vargolf and trying to chaff up his knights all at the same time. I figured he'd charge, they'd stay. He does something I don't imagine, but I'll say that in just a moment. So everything else is just kind of there to chaff up. I think I did attempt to charge with my knights into his flank. I failed that charge, and that was my knights against his knights on the far side of the table. And that's it. That's literally how the board looks at this point in time. Why didn't... Oh, wrong button. So over here, I turn around and get Blizzard on because I wanted the extra reroll. And you see the dead back there? The dead? That is a Trebuchet. Betsy was on fire. And there's another one. I did over 16 wounds that turn from my Trebuchets. So now it's his turn. He turns around. Let me go back a couple pages here so you can see. So he turns around and he takes his zombies up at the top of the screen to the right of the skeletons behind the spirit host, and he charges them into the yeoman. Like, that's a far charge. I'll go ahead and give it a shot. He takes his spirit host and charges into the archers, which is what I blew up his dogs. So he takes his spirit host and charges into my peasants. over there because he has the movement. Why not? What else did he do? He does not charge with his knights at the bottom of the screen. He takes his bat and charges into my peasant archers, which is how he was able to charge the peasant yeomen, because they formed on the closest model once the charge is declared. And that allowed the spirit host to make it past them into the peasants. And that was it. So let me go back forward. So now turn 2. So, as I said, his magic phase, he just kind of raises more dead. That's all I can say is dead, and more dead. He charges in with that block. And the thing is that block was on the water of 20 zombies. We bounced. He didn't do a single wound. Problem is neither did I. All I do was do one wound, just one wound, and we would have been static. Unfortunately, I lost by 2. No, I lost by 2 because a banner and he charged. They fled. This blocked my knights off. My knights on the far flank were perfectly set up. All I had to do is roll an 8 on Swift Stride to be able to reach the side of those knights. I don't care that his Varkalak would have been charging in the following turn if I didn't kill those knights. I would have been taking some of them down with me, and you can only heal so many of them at a time. That is a bad psychedelic picture. It looks pretty actually cool, but that's a mistake. Over here is Pats do 2 wounds, flank, but those peasants are the rule wasn't stubborn. They were just stubborn. They stayed there until they died to a man. They do me proud. That's why they're painted. Over here, these peasants did 2 wounds. He did 3. He charged. He won combat. So now it's Equitaine turn 2. So before I go into Equitaine turn 2, this is what I learned. A combat reform. I've always done the old-fashioned GW reform. You keep the center of your unit. You can turn around and add frontage and everything else. That's not the way it works. You pick the unit off the board and put it back down, keeping characters in contact, but you can turn around and change facings and everything else. So what he did was he picked up his spirit hosts and he slid them over so I couldn't charge in there with either my general or my BSB. It was a great, smart move. And with that said, knowing what I know now, I may have said, okay, you do that. My turn to try to do a combat reform, since I was the active player, or during his turn, move him over. So, food for thought for next time. I don't think he got anything over on me, but I know I got frustrated when he did that, and I wasn't thinking. And then that stupid Congo line. Oi! I don't like the Congo lines. That's all I can say is I really don't like Congo lines. He's got 2 going on the board. One's 2 wide, one's 1 wide of zombies. Over here, trebuchets. That's another 16 dead. Way to go, Betsy. Here, I charged in with my paladin, expecting to be able to do a couple wounds. That's strength 6 or strength 7 on the charge, 4 attacks, needing threes to hit him. He turned around and he ward saved every single wound that I did with my paladin. He did 4 wounds to my peasants, so that was that. Over here, I charged in with my Aspiring Knights. There's a reason why I charged in with the Aspiring Knights, is I hope to turn around and I should have done some different movement, but I had hoped to hold up that Spirit Host just a little bit, and I did 2 wounds. He did nothing back to me. Over here, I did 2 wounds. My peasants are steadfast with combat res. I did 2 wounds to his bat. He did 1 to my archers. They did fail their reform last turn. They'll reform in just a moment there. And so now it's undead turn 3. Here's how the board looks. I still did not get that reform to go off. And Varkalak still has me stuck in combat. And that's it. And again, my Aspiring Knights are stuck in combat. So he's actually going to charge. Does he charge the Aspiring? No, he does not charge the Aspiring Knights. He figures just let Spirit Host take care of him. He does charge, since I have my Ground Knights like that, he charges my Mounted Yeoman at the bottom of the screen. And that was it. He did charge my Yeoman at the top of the screen. I did forget to mention that they rallied last turn. So this time he charges with the Varkalak that's on top of the hill. They fled as a charge reaction. And that was it. Nothing horrible. They're closer to my Knights to use my Knights leadership. And that's how the board looks. So that's his charge against the Mounted Yeoman. And that stupid conga line. Oy. There's my level mate. Let's see. So my turn again. Did a couple. Or no, I'm sorry. This is at the end of his movement. So there is Knights against my Yeoman, which they're going to get eaten. And that's it. Nothing else has really changed. Over here, he actually does 2 wounds to them. They break from combat res, and he actually catches the Knights. I didn't expect him to catch them. Of course, they ate the Yeoman. He positioned so that my Ground Knights are still in his front. But, and here's the but, I have to turn around and put myself in that field. Terrain and I never get along. Over here, he's still killing that poor unit. So now it's turn 3. I charge in with my Ground Knights. I like the matchup. I started to get a little bit desperate, so I actually charged in with my other lance into his general. I was hoping to get lucky and tie up that unit because I just see other things getting too free over there. And I didn't really have a whole heck of a lot else going on. That stupid conga line's chaffing me up. I do get my general and BSB into combat with that Spirit Host. Unfortunately, I make a mistake, and I'll point out in just a moment. So there's that charge. So why I have a picture of zombies, I don't know. So that is a trebuchet shot. Turned around and killed one of his Knights. Over here, his Varkalak finally lost combat. My Paladin did 2 wounds to him, and he only did 2 wounds, 1 wound during the combat phase, 1 wound for a stomp. Therefore, with the 2 wounds, the rank and flank versus just 2 wounds, I won combat by 2. There is 4 wounds. That thing's dead. My mage did put stone skin on them, which of course was definitely saving their bacon a little bit. And the Ground Knights. The Ground Knights, I lost 3 Ground Knights to his Knights. I didn't do a single wound. Okay, or I did like 3 wounds. I had Rubber Lance Syndrome. Did 3 wounds. He does all 3 armor saves because all he needs is a 4+. And he got lucky. He got 4 saves. Over here, I had a reroll and I didn't use it, and I should have. Because all I had to do was do 1 more wound on that Spirit Host. That Spirit Host would have died with combat res, and then I would have overran with my Knights of the Realm. As it was, they didn't. I got myself in the long run. I allowed him to turn around and chaff me up. Over here, my Peasant Bowmen were still holding strong, but his General. Again, I hope to turn around, keep that unit locked in combat for a little bit so I could get my my General's unit into a flank, just to turn around and start issuing that challenge. And let's see. What happens here? His General pops Potion of Strength, kills 6 Knights right off the bat. I think he had and he has Red Fury on him, so for every wound he generates more, and that's literally what happened. So it was Strength 8 hitting on like twos on threes, twos or threes, I forget which. He decimated the unit. Nothing I could do. And I did inform him that, like, unfortunately, the wounds don't go over to the champion because the champion issued a challenge, which he accepted with um, his skeleton champion. So those two are locked in combat. I need a 3 to stay on the board. I rolled a 3. I got lucky. So now it's turn 4 to him. So he charges his zombies into the side of the Grail Knights. Sorry I don't have the picture of the board. He kills the rest of the Grail Knights. I did nothing to them. I scratched him. I literally scratched his armor. I didn't do a single wound with my 6 Grail Knights. His other Blood Knights. So what happened here? How this happened? Let me go back a few pictures here. So because that one Spirit Host stayed there, all right, he was able to turn around, take that conga line, and because his line of sight's into my flank, charge my flank with the conga line. It was a friendly game. We ended up doing a dice roll because it's really close in order to do it, and dice went in his favor. He charged there, and therefore he charged his knights into the peasants. Ends up killing those peasants. Let me go back to that. So by killing those peasants, he overruns into my level 4 mage. Had I thought the Spirit Host would have been there, I never in a million years would have left my level 4 mage right there. I wouldn't have. Shame on me for doing that. Over there, he does one more wound, so I Robin Hood and Friar Tuck standing strong. And let's see, turn 4 to me. He finally killed my unit champion that last turn. And or did I break? Yeah, no, that was it. So that conga line, I turned to face the conga line, and I charged the back of the conga line with my other unit of knights, and that's it. There's nothing else I really have on the board. I take my paladin. He's got a magical weapon. He can go against the Spirit Host. I want to try to get him in against one of those units to try to either save my remaining 2 peasants or save something on the board, or hold up his general's unit, because if I can get in the flank, which is what I am, if he does a reform, he's in the water. I don't care. It's like I don't have to worry about that. So there's that combat with the conga line. Nothing there happens. I get Blizzard off on them. With Blizzard, I try to turn around and put Stone to Skin, but he stopped that one. Here's a Trebuchet shot. Kills another 16 skeletons. Now, mind you, I've killed like 48 or over 50 skeletons by now. Over 50 skeletons. And look at the size of the unit. It keeps coming back. The dead don't die. Finally kills my last 2 peasant bowmen. They fought to the bitter end. They were very old models that did me proud. Easily killed my level 4. So now it's turn 5 to him. So he moves them up. As so. He charges into my 1 lance. Now, when I reformed that lance after that combat, I turned around and took my general, put him on the flank of the Spirit Host. Or the whatever, those were zombies that he raised. Zombies on the far side, because he got Dead Arises. And I put my BSB against that very same flank, having my standard and my champion in the front rank with my general. So that would have put 8 attacks going against zombies, needing 3s and 2s and 3s. So I was hoping that he'd be foolish enough to have charged them in so he could turn around and get that combat res. He was not. That was a shame. I wanted that. Anything else happen? Nope. I had rallied my... he moved up his Varkalax. And that's it. He turned around and did a reform, which opened them up. But when come time for his magic phase, he gets off Dance Macabre, so he's able to move his undead bus of skeletons 8 inches. So over here, he kills 6. Did I not say that? Oh, and he charged at the bottom of the screen there. Took his Vampire Knights, charged them into my peasants, kills 6 peasants, leaving me with a single rank, and eats them. That's all I can say is he eats them. They flee and get eaten by the knights. As I say, you got the Dance Macabre. So it's my turn. Bottom turn 5. I actually try to charge into the flank. They fail. I know he's not going to charge me with his big bus, with his necromancers. But what he does, what he does do in his turn 6 is he actually charges that unit of zombies all the way in the back there. Charges my paladin. It's a far charge. He makes it. Dice were going his way. I block his Vargoth with my peasants, and that was it. All right, so I get Stars Line off, I get second sign, and here's how the combat goes. First thing that happens is turns around, he kills my damsel and one of my knights, and then he kills the other 2 knights. So there goes my unit champion. I'm sorry, that's now his turn 6. So now we're back to turn 6. So let me go back a few pages here. I do apologize for not having that picture. So because of that movement, he killed the 2 knights. I stay there. He's able to turn around and charge into the flank of my unit there. And charges the flank of my paladin, or the rear of my paladin. My paladin actually does 4 wounds to him in close combat, but still flees. And that's it. And all right, let's get back. So here he is in close combat, and he charges a Vargoth into my mounted yeoman. He kept saying, "Those damn yeomen, they won't go away." The yeomen do nothing to Vargoth, and he ends up. Well, you'll see shortly. He kills 3. They run away. And he tries to pursue and does not catch them. So now it's my turn 6. I rally my yeoman. I charge into the flank of his skeletons. And I actually do rally my paladin. So let me go back. So he does. So going to close combats, I issue a challenge during his turn. I kill his unit champion again. It's like the 3rd time I had to kill that unit champion. So my turn, I challenged his general on general. And again, he's got the blessed sword, strength 5, yada, yada, yada. And I'm rerolling my armor saves. He does 1 wound to me. I do 2 wounds to him. So I was happy with the way my general was going out against a combat-driven Vampire Covenant character. Anything else in this? No. Nothing else. I've got, again, my paladin rallied. And skeletons just stay there. So without me being able to kill his general, nothing else of note. So results were the Vampire Covenant won. We didn't calculate points. It was already like almost 2 o'clock in the morning at this point in time. It was a long game. It was a fun game. It was very much a chess match. So kudos to my general to my opponent general for teaching me things that I never would have thought of. And I was giving him things to think about with my charge ranges and having the flanks the way I did. Fortunately, the dice gods were not with me that night. So the MVPs, Vampire Covenants, is Vampire Knights as far as I'm concerned. Kill my Grail Knights, turn around, took out my the other unit one, took out my peasants, but then my level 4. Pardon me. And then Kingdom of Equitaine, those trebuchets. I mean, he was literally dreading whenever I would roll my dice for those trebuchets, because it was like 16, 15. No matter what, I was doing multiple digits of dead to those skeletons. And that's all that kept those skeletons down, were those trebuchets. Had he not kept rising them, when it would have been a different game, but it was just like they were the trebuchets were just on fire. So that's it. Hopefully you enjoy the battle report. Again, it was such a fun game, and look forward to next time. Bye.